Hello, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be doing a large fall arrangement, part of my series for entertaining during Thanksgiving and the general holiday season. We're going to be doing a very large arrangement with fruits and flowers and all this beautiful fall foliage and berries. Let's get started. Today we're going to be using a pretty large 12-inch urn, and we're doing a sort of asymmetrical one-sided arrangement in a crescent shape. I picked all this beautiful viburnum from my garden this morning. The colors are insane. And I just set the lines for our crescent, just sort of a rough shape of it with some of these apricot golden berries here. A little bit of the berries just for a hint of that berry. I don't want to be too busy because we have so many different elements we're going to put into this arrangement. I'm going to turn this around. Hopefully you can still see what I'm doing. We're going to start with some persimmons. I have a big persimmon tree, and the persimmons are gorgeous right now. So I picked some persimmons to use in this arrangement. Now, the stems are really heavy. Even though the stems are woody and heavy duty, I still wire it so that you can place it better in your foam. We're going to start with placing the persimmons because they're heavy and I don't want to have to move them after we get started. So I'm going to do sort of a grouping style. With these asymmetric crescent arrangements, you kind of want a grouping style so that it stays very sophisticated. I'm sort of inspired to do this almost like a old master still life painting. I was an art history major, so I always love those gorgeous still life paintings of fruits and flowers. So we're going to attempt a fall version of that. You see how I'm just putting these in a cluster here and trying to build sort of a cascade of persimmons, even though the persimmons are not a cascading material. You can kind of do that by how you place the flowers. Now this arrangement is going to weigh a ton. It's just the persimmons weigh a lot. Okay, so we have our persimmons placed, and the foliage of the persimmons kind of grow on top of the fruit, so they hide the fruit. So I'm going to go in and snip off some of the foliage that's hiding the fruit. Not all of it, because I want some of it to show. Here we have our persimmons added in. Gorgeous. And now I have some artificial grapes. I like using artificial grapes because real grapes, first of all, aren't clustered as beautifully, and they can fall off the vine. This I have also wired, and I'm going to put this on the edge right here at the very front of the arrangement. And I'm going to put one cluster sort of on top of the other to build a larger, more substantial looking cluster. So we have our fruits in place. I can put this tray away. Now the other thing I found at the flower market this week are these amazing black kale. I don't know, I just kind of love this texture, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. I'm going to place that. This is a really thick, heavy stem, so I'm going to place my kale now before I add the roses and other materials we're going to use. I'm going to put one there. Now, I don't like using only one of anything in my arrangements, so I've got a couple of more. Maybe I'll place it back here. So I've got a grouping of kale here. Maybe I'll cut this stem a little bit. I'm trying to think if I do another cluster here or do I do it back here. I might just do it back here. It's challenging to show you this arrangement in this limited space here. And I'm so short to reach in here. So I hope you can see okay. All right. I'm going to turn this around so you can see it from the front for a minute before I turn it back to work on it. You see we have our fruits and kale placed already, right? So it's already taking shape, and we already set the lines of our arrangement. Okay. Next, I have some beautiful Nandina berries. I'm trying to think where I can add that in. The Nandina berries are in this really pretty kind of peachy apricot color. before they turn red, they first turn this orange color, which I particularly like. I'm trying to think where I can have this. Now I want to preserve the line of the crescent line, so I don't want to get too busy, but I really want to use some of this Nandina. I don't know, where should I put this? Up here, maybe alongside these other berries. Maybe I'll have it right here, kind of behind the kale with the peachy berries. Now I have another stem of the peach berries that I'm going to put over here to kind of repeat that same material in our crescent. That makes sense. There we go. Okay. I have some beautiful Nandina foliage in this green and red. I'm going to add some of this around the perimeter of the arrangement to kind of have that kind of umbling shape to it. So many of the big arrangements I do are symmetrical because we're doing it for weddings, for the ceremony like churches. It's really fun to do a more asymmetrical, large arrangement and show you how we can achieve that. The only thing is this is going to be a one-sided arrangement, so it kind of limits where you can use this. I would say this would be wonderful on a sideboard during Thanksgiving. And you could change the materials. You could still use these same design concepts, just kind of change the materials around if you're doing it for Christmas. But even this fall, these fall materials, I think, even work during Christmas time, at least in California, where we don't, get too cold. I do like the richness of this, so it will work, I think, even for Christmas, even though these are more fall materials. Okay, so I'm going to show you the berries I added and how it changes the arrangement a little bit. Okay. And then now we're going to add some roses and other flowers in here. I have three roses I'm using today. They're all in these rich fall colors. I will show you what we're using. We're using a beautiful deep red rose called Freedom. Freedom's one of my favorite roses. It's a beautiful deep red rose, and it lasts a long time. This is sort of an amber peachy apricot rose called Tropical Versilia. Versilia roses, there's many Versilia. There's pink Versilia, regular Versilia, and now Tropic Versilia. The regular Versilia is a peach color rose we use often for weddings, kind of a blushy peach. And then pink Versilia is a pink version of that rose. And now we have Tropic Versilia. And this is a new rose to me, kind of a bicolor rose. Rich orange with red kissed outer tips. Beautiful rose called Silentois. So this is a new rose to me. So I'm going to start with a Silentois rose and place them in this arrangement. Okay. We have the orange over here, so my instinct is to use these Silentois roses over here on this side. Our kale is so big, takes up so much space. I wonder if I should move it down towards here more so I have more room for roses. Maybe. Let me see how that would look. I like the kale where it is. Kind of cool. Okay. So I'm going to add in the Silentois rose here. Now, because we have such large elements, I don't want to just add a single rose here and there. I want to group them. So I'm going to have a couple of these Silentois roses here. And then we might repeat that color with the Tropical Versilia rose, which is sort of an amber orange, just a slight variation. It's very subtle, but I don't want it to be all exactly the same color rose. Okay. And then maybe another one here. And then my red roses, I'm going to add in a cluster over here. Freedom rose. Sometimes the freedom roses are redder, sometimes they're more burgundy. And sometimes when you first buy them, they're like a darker burgundy, and then they open up a deeper, a lighter velvety red. Regardless, I think it's one of my favorite red roses. It does last forever too, which is really nice. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn this around to show you what we've done. See, our arrangement's pretty much done. We have groupings of roses, fruits, and flowers. So I'm just going to finish the back, greening in a little bit so that it looks finished. Got some viburnum tips that I'm going to just use in the back to fill in the space. And then we're almost done. I especially love these are my snowball viburnum, by the way. In the spring, they have these huge snowball blossoms that I will show you in a few months. Last year, my gardener cut my viburnum right before they were going to bloom. I almost had a heart attack. But this year, they're going to be really great because after he cut them, all this new growth came out, so that it's going to be really, really, really spectacular this year. So 1 year of pain for a second year of gain. That's a gardener's life, I guess. But the viburnum is such a wonderful plant. During the spring, you've got these amazing long strands of hydrangea-like green balls that turn white as they age. And then in the fall, you have this unbelievable fall foliage. I especially like the viburnum foliage because I like that it has so many different colors. And in my fall arrangements, I love having that hint of fresh green, because I think if you have too much orange and reds and browns, it could get a little, like, I don't know, like monotonous looking. I like it. I think the greens just really set off the other colors. And it's almost like a little bit of an unexpected pop of freshness. I always like using fresh green colors in my arrangements just because I think the greens just naturally set off the other colors and make the other colors more vibrant. There's some bald spots on the side here. I'm going to just fill them in with a viburnum. I'm going to check over here. Looking pretty good. Oops, I'm going to turn this way. Looking pretty good. It's hard to do these arrangements in this setup here. I need a larger space to show you some of these designs. I'm going to put a few of the pale green viburnum tips in between the fruits just to give it a little bit of, I don't know, just kind of loosen it up a little bit, if that makes any sense. I feel like the persimmons are clustered really tightly, and a little bit of green throughout might look nice. So I'm just going to poke a few through here so you can see the tips of the leaves peeking through. And in a way, it kind of separates. You see how I put the orange roses here to separate the black kale from the black grapes? So sometimes you have to create some color space within your arrangement. Okay, I'm going to put some here. And I might even do a little bit of this green down here to set the grapes off from the urn. Since the urn is the same color almost as the grapes are very dark purple, almost black, and so is the urn. So I thought a little bit of this, well, this one is the wrong shape. Let me get some over here, longer pieces maybe of this snowball viburnum. When you work with these not flowering branches, but these fall branches, kind of have to really look at your material and see where it wants to go, where you can use it. Here's a piece that has a lot of green. I might do this kind of under the grape, between the grape and the urn, to set off the grapes a little bit so you can see it. That's really pretty. And call your attention to the grapes. Okay, step back and kind of take a look, see what you need. Okay, that looks nice. Sometimes you add in the heavy stems. Some of your branches have turned, so I'm going to make sure they are where they need to be. Okay, it looks good. I think I want a little bit of this peeking out from behind the kale here, just a little bit. because the kale's so dark. A little bit, I think, looks great. Okay, I think we are done. I'm going to remove all this busy stuff so that you can take a look at the arrangement. I'll spin it around so you can see it from my front camera. And that is a pretty easy to do one-sided fall arrangement featuring fruits and flowers like an old-fashioned still life painting. I love all these rich colors, textures. This would be spectacular on a sideboard. Hope this inspires you to do something spectacular for the holidays for your home. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and send me a comment to let me know what you'd like to see in future videos. And I will see you in my next video.